Good morning, Billies. Welcome to the morning show. It's Love FM, Love TV. I'm Ernesto. This Troy. Good morning, Troy.
Hey Ernesto, good morning, good morning. Certainly good to be here this morning. It is a Wednesday, it is a hump day, of course, for those persons who are keeping track. It's the 12th day of August. Glad you could join us this morning. Kind of bleaky outside,
Yeah.
but that we know that, there is some sort of system operating within our area, so that's expected. So let me say first, pleasant good morning to all of you, our viewers and listeners, throughout the length and breadth of this beautiful jewel of ours. And if you're streaming, we welcome you as well. And we trust that this morning's discussions are going to be informative and engaging. You bought the Bolito, 7-1 played, Ernesto.
7-1 play.
7-1. So if you won, congrats. If not, you could try again tonight, where another draw comes up right here on Love FM and Love Television at around 9:10 p.m. And as they say, you got to be in it to win it.
Well,
to be in to
that's
win
right.
it.
And today we'll have mostly, we'll be chatting with you, of course. We have our guest coming in the person of the Honorable Orlando Habet, Ministry of Sustainable Development, and we are very involved with SICA, the Sistema Integral de Centroamérica, being a part of the Central American Integration System, and I think we are doing the presidency right now, and that's a responsibility. And so let's talk about that with him and his colleagues, what that means for Belize, being that for many years I remember. I don't know if you remember.
There's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of things going on because governments have to continue to govern. Amidst all of these BTL and that's happening. Those are only peripheral issues. The real core issues are governance continue. You got to continue to be part of the whole system. Otherwise, as they say, no man is an island. And
that's right.
If you kind of stop doing those things because you're distracted by all of these things that are more on the periphery.
Oh yeah.
Because whether BTL sell or buy smart or not is not going to continue to put food on people's table and continue to deal with the
everyday life has to continue.
Yeah, none of those things will have any major impact.
Yeah.
In the scheme of things, because at the end of the day, we have to continue our export to earn US dollars because we have one importation appetite.
That's right.
And every time
we
go buy the Amazon and you swipe the card, you have to have the US dollars to pay for
going out. How do we get US dollars? Well, we can talk about that as well.
You have to earn it. You have to earn it.
Right.
So I just want to remind a lot of persons, because sometimes we make it sound as though that we only have a one issue.
It's what's the headline for that week.
Yeah. And I want to remind people that, when you consider your household, you might have one issue going on with a student, when your child not doing well in school, but at the same time, you still better get to work, or if you're running your business, you have to open your business.
The bigger picture.
And you have to continue to put food on the table for the rest of the family.
That's right.
And so just so people understand that if it is that we come here one morning and we're not talking about the thing because all the other tabloids are talking about it,
other things are happening.
Other things are happening, and I'm just not interested to continue to
that's
talk
why
about
we tried,
over.
I said yesterday when we left, we try to diversify what we do here. We don't take the headline of the week or the sensational news that's going. Of course we'll carry it. Of course we talk about it. But, life is made up of many other issues.
Exactly.
As we continue.
Exactly.
You mentioned you might have an issue home and your child not do good. You might find your daughter, they married somebody you don't want, you know what I mean?
But that can't be the only thing happening that will stop. And I'm not going to work.
You might say he's not going to bring enough money into the system, but
might be a freeloader, no?
Exactly.
25 minutes to 7, then we take a break, then we'll start, come back.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to the morning show for today, of course, August 2026. Anybody celebrating a birthday today? Happy birthday to you.
Yes, happy birthday. And so, coming back to the BTL issue, I noticed a release last night from the, I don't know, you call them social partners, the chamber, unions and NGOs, and what's the other one? The churches.
NGOs, the churches.
Yeah, but they've been invited to make a presentation, either pros or con or whatever concerns they have to cabinet, which I consider the highest decision body in the country. I mean, some people would say parliament, but as far as the executive, it's one of the third branches of government. And I felt it's important, but I noticed that they're rejecting it or
they're saying they need to go together, and they're saying they don't have all the information yet.
And I'm saying,
so which one comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, that's my point. My point is, I don't know if you're tired at the hip. As a member of the chamber, I want my organization to represent. That's capital and labor. Those are the two critical components within a society at this point in time, in terms of the whole economic psyche of this country. So I don't have a problem with I don't know why they said them two, but I could see the relevance as saying, let's talk to capital.
I think they
let's talk to capital,
yeah,
which is the business sector. Let's talk to labor, which is the unions.
Yeah.
And let's hear from them. Because it's not so much them asking question, because cabinet is not necessarily will have the information.
No.
It is about them coming to make a presentation and say, listen, we not support this because we not got this information, this, and this. But put it on the table. Don't miss the opportunity because you want to share solidarity. I'm saying that is not breaking your
I
position.
agree with that part. The part I do question, though, is they are asking for certain information. I guess this would be like a first meeting with cabinet, because this would be a meeting.
Then put it on the table to cabinet.
And then let cabinet decide.
Yeah, because cabinet says, I will deliberate next week and make a position. Because let's face it, if cabinet says no, because they do have this consolidated responsibility, then a no. It will be no.
Yeah.
Because they control the pulse, and if they said no, then the BTL can't go
and
ahead.
if the chamber
and if they say we okay or we need more information or so,
then cabinet can direct
what they need.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I will take advantage of that.
I think we're missing
go in and say,
this is not a muscle, flexing a muscle, because what you're doing is you're going to miss the opportunity. The things are going to go ahead one way or the other, and then you'll cry foul. And I'm saying, as a member of the chamber, I want my organization.
I agree with you. I think that this point in time,
I'm not interested about the other ones there. They make for their own case. Yes or no, they're together as one, but they can also make their
you
case.
represent. I mean, you all have the same objective. So take it. And I agree with you. I do. And then I think they could use this also to say, look, we still need this information. Maybe cabinet will say,
either we got it, and we could share it with you, or says, I think maybe we need it too.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Use that old cliche statement.
I think what's happening here, we always talk about we make decisions sometimes emotionally or just politically.
It's an emotional decision.
We do things like that when sometimes when I say you have to kiss today till you could kick tomorrow.
But it's not as low as that, though. I mean, quite honestly.
No, I know. But use all the advantages you can, so you can come back later on better prepared.
To me, I see it as a respectful position, because cabinet says, listen, we didn't get the chance to do a deliberation, and this is me interpreting all that I've heard. So, come BTL, I need to hear from you. You gone at the board meeting and pass this decision to buy and start the process to purchase. What you want to say? Tell me, BTL, come tell me SSB, because you all had a no objection
Yeah.
at your board meeting, and PUC contact me and tell me what are the process, so I know. Because let's face it,
PUC already did theirs, right?
all
Yeah.
three did yesterday
Yeah.
from the news.
Oh, all three. Okay.
So from my standpoint, the members of cabinet don't know everything.
Mm-mm.
You know,
And they are representing the people.
and they need to be informed. So come and present to me, and I will ask questions based on areas that I assume that they had a chance to have a Q&A
Yeah.
situation. Then after that you say we need to hear from the business community because they are significant.
No, I agree.
And we need to hear from labor, which is also significant, you know. And then anybody else maybe later, I don't know. But the churches and the NGO, they don't fall in
They
the
don't
same
fall into the
category
same bracket.
as.
No, they don't.
So
I agree
let's
with
be
that.
realistic.
I
I'm
agree
not being
But-
mean or unfair. I'm just saying that's how I viewed it. And
It's
I
a-
repeat again,
it's
as
a
a member
reality.
of the Chamber of Commerce, I want my people to be there to make the presentation on my behalf. You know, so I think I hope they don't miss it. I hope they change their position.
Are the media people going to be invited, you know?
No, the media report the news.
Yeah.
The media report the news. We confuse ourselves.
Okay.
That we want
How
we
you
want to
are-
be we want to be influencers. That are different role. Go to TikTok, go to Reel, go.
No,
we,
I don't.
we
Wait, hold on,
report
hold
the
on,
news.
Hold on. Let me explain that to me.
We
The media is worried about the monopoly. Don't you think they should get a chance to also make the
well,
presentation on the monopoly
then write
issue?
to PUC. There's a process for that because PUC is interested in the law. That is where their purview comes down. That's not BTL business. BTL will be told you broke the law, you can't do it.
Right.
They will be told that. That is
Right.
not their job to. It is not their job.
I
to,
bring that
to
up
figure
again.
that.
I bring that up again with the law, but
Like the police,
From what I heard
he
from
need
you-
to worry about the law. I must get understanding that they broke the law, but the police will come to me and say that you broke the law.
but here we go again. Is the law being broken?
No.
So
No. The law is not being broken. The law is not being broken.
it's being bent.
No, there's a process. You see, that is
Yeah.
where we get
The
confused.
loopholes,
It's a process.
Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, morning, Joy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to I was listening to the news yesterday and I heard the chairman of BTL, Mr. Lizaraga, mention that they are doing a current net assessment of BTL, and because of that, they're limiting themselves to one financial year. From what I understand,
Oh,
and I'm
smart.
no financial guru, but usually a present net evaluation covers about 3 to 5 years
Yes.
of financials and not 1 year of financial. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, Troy. You are definitely, this is your arena and not mine. So that was kind of like a shock to me, and it just speaks to the lack of transparency that surrounds this deal. No, it's they're treating us like fools. Fool talk, but fool no listen, right? Because those who do not know better will take that as word and think that is how real business is. But this is the first time I'm hearing a multi-million-dollar deal hinging on 1 year of financials. You understand me?
Okay.
So I just wanted to make that point as
Sure.
well, and hopefully people are listening and can also understand as well and not, believe the nonsense that you hear sometimes.
All right. Sure.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, caller.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Ernesto, what the caller is saying
No,
is,
I heard
is
that.
significant.
I heard that.
But that is why it is important for the chamber to get in the room with cabinet
I say,
and
look,
to
we need more than
say
1 year.
to them, listen, this is unusual if that is the case, but be there to make the presentation
like
on
I said, use it
Thursday.
as a stepping stone to the next.
Yeah,
It doesn't
if
have
it-
to be the only meeting.
If it is that one says, I am not comfortable with 1 year of information, financial information, then you could make that presentation and says, wouldn't it?
Has the Chamber and Union seen that 1 year
I'm not
report?
sure. I have not seen
Okay.
it. I have
The,
not
the
seen
thing
it.
is that the cabinet is saying they are going to meet. They are going to make a decision by next week, right?
They will do a deliberation and give a decision or
Right.
a position.
Is that enough time for them to go in, to meet with cabinet and get the information
the
they need
chamber?
to check and come back?
Well,
I mean,
well,
this is
remember,
where-
none of
this is
these things
where-
are etched in stone. That's why
Well-
it's so important to get in the room, because maybe you could delay cabinet decision making too. Remember, everything I'm
see,
saying
this-
here is speculative, because I don't control none of these
Correct.
actions.
Uh-huh.
I am just saying.
There are gray areas here.
I am just saying that if you know, we always say if you're not in it, you can't win it. You
Yeah,
get
you
in the
gotta
room,
get in. You gotta get. Yeah,
get in
I
the
agree
room
with that.
with the guys, them and gals, and say, listen to me. They are not my concerns. I tell you no. What
Because
is
the chamber
abnormal.
is saying, yeah, I can meet with you, but I can't give you a definitive result of what I think because I don't have all the information.
But you've been saying a lot of things before.
Yes.
You've been saying a lot of
but
things.
basically they
So
say
now
they-
you get the chance to be. You have it on paper.
Why is that? Why do you think that is that such an issue of getting an open audit of this company? What's it? Consider. I mean, this is the people. People are involved. The people's money is involved.
If I listened
why?
to the chairman yesterday, he's saying that before we made the decision first, we just had they gave us a cursory view because they never trust the process, that there's not a decision to buy, and so why give you all this information that becomes now almost public knowledge, that
But
about
because
my
the way it
business,
was approached from the beginning,
about my business.
this was a decision made. Apparently, this was not consultation
well, the board.
first.
Well, remember, the board didn't make a decision until 2 weeks ago.
No, I know. But when the news broke,
Well,
this
me
was
and you
80 million.
could talk all you want about buying business. I mean, we could have discussions. Why I like your business? Why you think we could have that discussion on a continuous basis. But as long as I don't make a decision to proceed or sign something that says I have a letter of intent or so, a LOI, then there is nothing to hold me. That I'm going to proceed. Now that the board has decided, then I think now they should be privy to a little bit more information. He said 3 things yesterday. He said, Ernesto, that they have done 3 independent
So he
valuations.
said, yeah.
So I believe that should have some sort of.
Who has seen those?
No,
independent
I have
evaluations?
not seen it. I'm just.
No,
That's
but
why I
who
was going to
has?
go. Well, he says they've done 3, so
They have
obviously
done
he
3.
have seen it
Yeah.
because he said
Obviously the
that
chamber-
they were pretty close. The chamber,
Okay.
obviously, I don't think the chamber has seen it.
No, neither has the union.
Or the union. Then he says that they have a good idea in terms of what the cash flow would be because they have access to the interconnection information. So if what they're seeing as the interconnection information is exciting them, then that is something they could possibly share.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, what you're seeing there is only a portion, because the other portion of the revenue comes from smart to smart, because the interconnection that they are seeing is only smart to BTL, or
Yes.
and so there is this net off. Then he also said that the assets that they're getting, the hard assets, will allow them to do redeployment and so in other areas. So those were takeaways, but remember, those are all still lack of evidential. Evidentiary
Two interesting
materials.
things I found. He said about the double expenses, you're spending double, and that BTL has enough equipment to handle all of Smart's membership or customers. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, from a simple point of view, I have never heard or who wants to sell Smart. I didn't hear somebody wanted to sell Smart. And if the owner wanted to sell Smart, if it is worth something, that person would never sell Smart. That is a businessman that is always looking to get everything.
No.
Then
how can you buy something that somebody is not selling? Suddenly, BTL wants to buy a company that we never hear was about to sell. I don't understand that part. And I was listening to Lisa Raga, which is the opposite from the man that was in the Chamber of Commerce. And he said, how we are going on right now, we are like we are duplicating, we are using two things at the same time. But if we join together, then we are going to use one thing, which for me, that is the opposite. I think he made a mistake there. So, in other words, we are going to be wasting or throwing away the two things that we are going to use and only use one. I don't know if I'm clear enough.
No, I hear you. That's one of the things that I noticed too. It's like us saying here, well, our competing TV or radio is using the same equipment we are, and that's doubling up expenses. We shouldn't. I didn't get that point from him
thank
either.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
See, Ernesto, if I'm sitting in BTL's shoes, I want to get rid of my competition.
Right.
I want to have less headache. I want to embrace that concern. So
Obviously, yeah.
I don't fault the
No,
BTL
no,
people
let's
for
do that.
wanting to.
No.
They are saying, listen, anyway, you cut it, a good deal for us.
I see that.
Anyway, you cut it.
Get
it's
rid
a
of the
good-
competition.
It's a good deal for us, and we know pay a penny more because the same money where we will be earning in their calculation, what they are explaining, that we will be earning from the revenues that we will get from the cash flow from the new set of customers that were not BTL customers.
Convincing us, the people, that we are not going to be using money or making
Well,
loans and
you
burdening
see
ourselves.
the idea
So-
where we get a bit confused. If either the management, I don't worry about the people. That's not my business. My business is to my shareholders, who I consider the
And
board
he
of
did say that.
directors.
He did say that.
And build this company. So I am not worrying about all the bickering out there because I'm running a business and it is within my best business interests.
But hold on. I think the difference here, one thing we have to remember, does it belong to the people or not?
The company belongs to the
shareholders.
shareholders. Now you figure that out how you want. You could break that down in any segmentation you want. Because when you look at Amazon have a lot of shareholders. So not only Bezos,
No.
or because they're all traded companies. And the same
But-
thing but the big one.
We need to break that down a little bit more. Yeah, go ahead.
The big shareholders are always going to be the ones making decisions. Now, the politics of it is different. Now, do I, as the manager or CEO, get caught up in the politics of the day, or should I look out for the best interests of the company?
Shareholder and the company. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm listening to your conversation, and I can see one person is being supportive and one person is being an antagonist. And this antagonism is good. But the question I ask, and from watching yesterday's interview on the media with the chairman, and he says, if they acquire Smart, it is not a monopoly. I question you guys. If they acquire Smart, is it not a monopoly? Yes or no question.
He tried to explain that. Yeah, I wasn't
That's
sure
a
how
yes.
he broke that
That's
down.
a yes or no answer. Is it a monopoly if they buy out Smart? The question is, and I pose it like that because if this person gets the authority to produce tomatoes, and then get to produce only tomatoes, if they're right, and getting the authority to produce only tomatoes, nobody else can produce tomatoes only there. And then when next man come and buy tomatoes from them, and then we sell it to us, that's still a monopoly. I mean, I barely come out of high school. I don't know economic genius. But if I have the product and you to buy the product only for me, that makes me a monopoly. That I know if, but kind of question. One other serious question I have is when they fight for the same customers. No care what to do. Turn it upside down, turn it sideways, turn it this way. When they fight for the same customer, whether the population, I believe. When they fight for that, Smart and BTL fight for the same pie. Why we can't get somebody else outside come buy Smart? Why does it have to be us? What happened to, as the chairman rightfully say, they double everything we have? He said we have double this, double that, double this. We have to get rid of double this, double that, double this. In my case, in my industry, redundancy is a very good thing. Have double this and double that. So if one spoil, the next one will work. If one company strike, the next company not strike. If one company got problem, the next company not have problems. Amalgamating them today will create a situation where if one company strike, the whole country have problems. We are create the fact that we have no more competition because everybody have to buy tomatoes and one man will sell tomatoes. I have posed this question to ChatGPT, whether an independent research body on the internet, not nothing fancy. And everything come up, they say it is not a good deal for the country. So why would they debate something where all we don't know that not a good deal? It come up a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago, the country vexed, the union jump up, then bite it down. All of a sudden, I think the dog they sleep. We got a lot more serious pressing issues to deal with. And bang, this dog will come up again. Who's scheduled for benefits for this deal? Why is the seller so persistent to get rid of it? And why we to get forced with it down our throat? Questions of the day. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day, Jeff.
Thank you, caller.
We will take this up again later on this morning.
Yeah, because we'll go to break.
Yeah, right now we'll take a break. We'll come back and discuss some other issues affecting the country, but we will keep on with this subject. So stay with us. We'll be back.
Introducing Grow
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the morning show. And we change the gears here a little bit, but we are going to talk about something very important to the country, obviously. In the studios, we have the Honorable Orlando Habet, who is the Ministry of Sustainable Development. Good morning, sir. Good morning. He's joined by Mr. Carlos Moreno, Grants and External Relations Coordinator. And you're with the ministry, sir?
Yes, I am.
That's right. And we have Ms. Marisol Castillo Collado. She's the Executive Secretary, and that would be CCAD. I think that's how you say that. That's the Central American Commission on Environment and Development, and her main language is Spanish. ¿Entendió lo que, cómo la introduje?
Sí.
Muy bien, gracias. Primeramente, explíquenos qué es CICAD, qué grupo es.
Es el sistema de integración centroamericana de los países que componen la región de Centroamérica y República Dominicana, es decir, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, y la CCAD es el órgano especializado en ambiente.
En ambiente.
En sí,
Okay.
y está compuesto por
Okay.
los 8 ministerios de ambiente de los países.
It's more involved with the environment when it comes to that. Así es que es ligado a SICA.
Sí, es un
Oh,
organismo que...
Okay, it's a branch of SICA.
Yeah.
All right, let's get that.
Yeah, but when you look at it, Minister, from the environment standpoint, how involved and how committed Central America is to the whole environmental issue?
Yes, well, we have these conventions that we sign with various countries. In this case, we also have in the region, for example, we have ours with CARICOM, but we also have this with Central America. So as this Council of Ministers of Environment of Central America, which is a branch of SICA, because you also have for health, you have for agriculture, CAC. So we all come together as a unit to see what it is that we want to do in work together for the environment. And we look at the environment certainly, but we look at issues of climate change. We look at the negative effects of climate change on our region. We are not considered, in Central America, isn't considered small island states, but they're considered small states. Belize is a small state, but it's also considered a small island state. So we look at the issues of biodiversity loss. We look at issues of pollution. What happens when the Motagua River empties and all this plastic that we see, one of the worst rivers in the world, and it moves from Guatemala into Honduras,
yeah.
and then we have those back waters coming back up towards Belize, and you go on the Placencia Point and you see some bottles and plastics, and when you look, Guatemala or Honduras, because it's circular. So we have to look at it from that standpoint. That as a region, we are all connected, certainly. We know for sure that, especially countries that have land boundaries, there's nothing to stop anything. The wildlife, for example, doesn't have a boundary. They don't have a political boundary.
Yeah, they don't have
The trees that grow in the Chiquibul, and some are on the Guatemalan side. Of course, right now ours are under conservation with FCD on the other side. It's not. So we have to work with these countries in the region. And we have some bilateral connections and bilateral agreements and MOUs, but with the CCAD, it is the entire region that comes
So
together.
that's why Ms. Collado is here.
Yes,
Okay.
certainly.
Let me see if I can break up my Spanish here. Representando al CICAD,
la
En
CCAD.
estas reuniones que van a tener en Belice, ¿cuál es el objetivo que está buscando aquí?
Quizás primero iniciar diciendo que la Secretaría Ejecutiva de la Comisión Centroamericana de Ambiente y Desarrollo valoramos muy positivamente el liderazgo que Belice ha venido ejerciendo durante este semestre que ejerce la presidencia pro tempore.
Okay, let me say that. She's just saying that they appreciate Belize's leadership when it comes to your participation with the organization.
Right, and we are currently the pro tem chair
tem,
for the
pro
next
tem,
6
that's right.
months.
Yeah.
¿Y qué buscamos? Primero concluir la idea. Pues Belice ha contribuido a impulsar temas estratégicos como lo es la gestión del agua, la biodiversidad, el cambio climático, el tema del sargazo y la protección de nuestros ecosistemas. Y volviendo a la pregunta que usted nos hace, el valor que tenemos es que la región enfrenta desafíos comunes y la mejor manera para enfrentar esos desafíos es de manera conjunta, como lo hacemos regionalmente desde la plataforma que es la CCAD.
Okay, they'll be looking at from various angles, various subjects, environments, even sargassum. She mentioned, and of course we're sharing common problems when it comes to the environment. ¿Hay algún tema específico que van a discutir? ¿O
Bueno,
va a ser más un ambiente más plano?
Nosotros enfrentamos desafíos comunes y sí hay temas que de manera particular vamos a tocar, como son el tema del sargazo, es uno de los temas principales, nuestra estrategia regional ambiental marco.
¿El sargazo cuánto está afectando Centroamérica?
Bueno, prácticamente casi a todos. Está República Dominicana, Belice, Honduras, Guatemala y creo que también en Costa Rica ya y Nicaragua está llegando el sargazo. República Dominicana quizá es uno de los que tiene más, que le llegó más pronto, vamos a decir, el sargazo, pero ya está casi en los 8 países.
Okay.
Prácticamente.
It's across. The sargassum will be a major discussion.
So this high-level meeting, Carlos, you could tell us what's the premise of that, and who all would be in this discussion that you all will be having.
Okay. Yes. Good morning. Yeah. Belize holds the pro tempore presidency now, so we are chairing the Council of Ministers meeting.
That will be here in Belize.
Here in Belize.
Where?
That is happening tomorrow.
Okay.
And we are chairing, and we have the 8 countries of the CCAD, Dominican Republic, Central America, and Panama participating. We have regular sessions. We are having an ordinary session this time, the 75th session of the Central American Commission on Development and Environment. And today, Belize will present the priorities that we have for our pro tempore presidency, which deals from biodiversity, solid waste management, water resources. Sargassum is important. So today we have a bilateral meeting with all the different ministers that are coming today on sargassum, because we want to develop a regional project to be able to attack sargassum and to manage it, because we can't stop it. So we need to find a way how we can manage it. And add a circular economy into it, because we have all this material that we need to do something with, and it's not enough from picking it up from the beach and just dumping it somewhere. We have health problems. we have so many problems with it. Yes, and I mean the tourism industry is affected greatly. Dominican Republic and Belize have been leaders in terms of managing sargassum. So we are having a bilateral with all the other countries to come together, tell them our experiences, and try to get some kind of project in play so that we can do something better than what we are doing. Though we are doing a lot, but we can do a lot better.
Well, considering that sargassum is high on the agenda, obviously for reasons, this is all to do with Central America, Panama, and Dominican Republic. Are we including any estamos incluyendo alguna organización internacional fuera de Centroamérica y la región cuando se está discutiendo esto del problema del sargazo y cómo controlarlo? Porque parece que nadie en el mundo tiene tiene
solución.
exactamente
No, así
la
es,
respuesta
así
de
es,
esto.
todavía-
Lo que México está poniendo millones de
Así
pesos
es.
para controlarlo y tiene
Bueno,
dificultad.
nosotros, por supuesto que sí, que nosotros valoramos también las experiencias de otros países que ya han pasado por este proceso y eso será tomado en cuenta
Ok.
en nuestra intercambio de
Pero en esta reunión no hay invitado.
No, porque esta reunión es exclusiva de los
Okay.
8 países
I was
del
asking if
SICA.
we are including any
other-
foreign
Yeah.
entities.
Pero no
but
obstante a eso,
just discussing.
a nosotros nos solicitan cortesías de sala en donde le damos apertura pues a organismos internacionales pues para que vayan a exponer soluciones a la problemática ambiental.
Okay. Well, okay. Después que termine esta reunión, ¿qué viene después?
Bueno,
Con usted. Para llevar toda esta información. ¿Qué pasa? I'm asking her what happens next.
Bueno, esta reunión es muy importante y no solo porque reúne a los 8 países del SICA, sino porque tiene un valor estratégico y político. El Consejo de Ministros, que es la máxima dirección de la CCAD, pues me instruye a mí las acciones que yo debo de emprender de manera regional. Es
Ok.
decir, que de ahí se producen unos acuerdos los cuales le dan un valor.
Result some agreements, they
Exacto.
value them, and
Exacto.
then how they will approach it in the future.
Minister,
next.
you-
Action,
you could-
yeah.
Yeah, you feel the same energy from the rest of this region in terms of dealing with many of these environmental issues, in particular the concept of climate change and so, because that's always seemed to be a concern. And then secondly, when you look at the consolidation, especially when you compare, say, taking representation to say COP, because you talk about the small island states where we kind of attach ourselves for the most part, but could it be that there's a consolidated view in terms of SICA and CARICOM together as one block?
Yes, certainly. What happens is that because the pro tem chairmanship or presidency is rotated every 6 months, each country has an opportunity to lead politically, diplomatically, and it gives you that type of influence to be able to promote some of the projects that you want to see done regionally, right? So what happens is that the outgoing presidency, when they came in, they had the same thing. They had their 5, 6, 7, 8 priority projects. And what is not completed during their 6 months of presidency, then we, as Belize now, for example, we're taking over from Dominican Republic. We will continue what they had started, start what we want to do, and try to push as much as possible to complete those. And then the next country that takes over continues what we also started. During the meetings of the ministers, we consolidate and come together and agree on these priority projects, which then the Secretariat has to implement.
Yeah.
So we have our own, which we'll implement nationally, but on a regional scale, many times what we cannot do, especially in terms of climate finance and biodiversity finance, we can leverage it at a higher scale through CCAD, and then many times the projects might not be totally for all the countries, but they might be for 3 or 4 countries, or another project will be for another 3 or 4 countries. For example, we have a Selva Maya project that we did a first phase, now we're going through a second phase, and the 3 countries that are involved are Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize, because that's the Selva Maya, funded through KfW from Germany, so these 3 countries. We might have a project that we are going to do right now with Belize, Guatemala, that is funded by Taiwan. Only Belize and Guatemala are still diplomatically friendly
Related
with
to
Taiwan.
Taiwan, yeah.
So those projects would only be 2. But there might be a project maybe through GEF or GCF that will encompass the entire 7-8 countries. So then that's the scale at that.
Is
that we go.
there a funding, is there a pooling of resources when it comes to these projects?
Yes, there
Each
are.
country
there is.
contributes?
Yes. This tomorrow we are having the launch of a project too that we started during our last presidency. Those projects take a long while to go through the system and develop. We are launching a $20 million project tomorrow. For Belize's part, it's about $1.9 million US for Belize. That
Okay.
we will do some investments in the New River, the Belize River,
River.
and the Rio Hondo. To try to work on the watersheds. The intention now is to work on a watershed scale instead of doing some point-to-point interventions.
This 20 million is a consolidation of funds by the whole region?
It's funded by
will be spent in Belize?
No, we will
1.9.
1.9 will be spent in
1.9
Belize,
will
but
be-
it's for the 8 countries. So
Okay.
we share what we have, and we do some counterpart funding in terms of offices, transportation, our staff that will be working in the project. So our contribution is counterpart funding, but not in cash, but more in kind. So to be able to do the implementation.
This
of
project
these
is
projects.
specifically for these 3 watersheds. And so what it is that we are looking at the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, of which Belize has the greater part.
Okay.
But many of the problems that we see, plastics and other pollution affecting the reef, don't really all emanate from the coast itself. You come from inland. So this is a ridge to reef project where we have to work inland to do all the prevention and everything
Okay,
else.
so if you could trap it
Trap
before,
it
get
before
into
it
the
gets
city.
You know, we get caught up in the whole environmental thing, but there are specific issues like the Sargassum water. We need,
Yes.
I'd like to ask Ms. Collado, ¿cuál es la situación cuando se trata de agua potable en esta región? Entiendo que hay un poco de dificultad ahí, hay un problema que va creciendo.
Realmente nosotros manejamos el agua desde la cuenca, desde su inicio, de donde sale, y la protegemos desde ahí. Y precisamente, y es uno de los temas que Belice ahora mismo tiene dentro de sus prioridades, trabajar el tema de las cuencas unido al combate de la
¿Dónde está la cuenca?
Watershed.
Ah,
That's
De la
like the
it's a
river
watershed,
basin,
yeah.
like the river
Pero
basin.
¿en cuál país? ¿Específicamente el de Belice o
No,
en los dos?
trabajamos las cuencas de
cuencas,
los 8 países.
sí.
Es el valor que tenemos
The watersheds in
regionalmente,
all
que
countries.
trabajamos en conjunto, le damos
Ok.
respuesta a problemas comunes en conjunto y eso le da un valor agregado.
Porque
Pues,
cada país, bueno, tiene su cuenca.
Exactamente.
Each country has a watershed.
Sí, ahora mismo tenemos un proyecto muy...
we have 3, no?
Well, we have several watersheds. All the rivers are watersheds. The
Yeah.
streams, Crooked Tree Lagoon is a watershed.
watershed.
But for fresh water especially, so we're looking at, for us, most of our rivers originate in the mountains, so in the Chiquibul, in the mountain Pine Ridge, the down south where we have all the rivers. So we have to do the protection from where it starts. And one that is of concern for us is the Mopan River, because the Mopan originates in Belize, goes into
into
Guatemala, some
Guatemala.
27, 30 miles, pristine, clean water, but when it comes back, it comes
dirty.
back filthy. So we need to work along with Guatemala to see how we can both work with it, because they're using it, there's no problem, but we also want it clean when it
But
comes
it is
back.
a problem.
It is a problem.
As-
I was
as-
I was
as-
the mayor of San Ignacio back in 2000, 2003, and when I noticed the problem, especially when we had, after Mitch in 98, I became the mayor in 2000, and we noticed that we had some problems with cholera after the Mitch flooding. And when we looked up, Al was pointing at the Mopan River, because the problems with cholera were in Santa Familia, Billy White, which is right along that
Yeah.
river. So when we looked at the river and I saw the problems we had in Melchor, I approached the mayor from Melchor, and we took a boat and we went upriver. and we saw the problems. It's filthy, there
Yeah.
are pit toilets, a lot of
Yes,
small
yes.
communities.
It's
So when the river
it's a
floods, all that
massive-
goes
it's
into
an
the
incredible
river,
problem
comes back.
in Guatemala.
So 3 years ago, we had a meeting in San Pedro, and I found out that we could get some funding through the JEF facility for some monies that they have put aside for international waters. So I approached the Minister of Environment, then Minister Rojas of Guatemala. I said, let's do a transboundary project, which is Belize, Guatemala, to look at the Mopan River. He said, it sounds good, but I don't want to use the word transboundary. So I said, don't worry about the transboundary name. You could change it to any name you want, but let's do the work. Right now we have a very friendly and good cooperation with the current Minister of Environment from Guatemala and the Vice Minister.
Is that going to come up at this?
That's
session?
coming up at this, and we are getting the funding, and we're starting a project, which is a bilateral project, but also it will be also coordinated through CCAD.
Actually, tomorrow we are also signing a memorandum of understanding with the Nature Conservancy, Belize and the Nature Conservancy,
Yes.
for freshwater management, because we know how important it is. So we need to do that. And the project that is launching tomorrow concentrates a lot on transboundary watersheds. So it's a lot of concentration on the transboundary part.
Because we also have one with Belize and Mexico on the Rio Hondo.
To be fair, because this session is held in Belize, that Belize will be the priority discussion, because I'm not hearing about pollution in Honduras or Panama or Dominican Republic. Everybody will get the same priority.
Yes, so Belize as pro tem chair will put out the priorities that Belize wants
Okay.
for the
That's
region.
how you, okay.
But of course, we're looking at ours.
Yeah.
But we can scale it up, as I mentioned, when we work with the region, because we might find some funding individually with the JEF, GCF, maybe the European Union to do local projects. But when we want a larger project, the leveraging is easier because these international funding agencies are looking at the bigger picture and what's happening in the region.
Okay.
And so when we want to go, for example, to COP31 is coming up, and we will get together as ministers, and just before December COP, we'll make certain that we try to see how best we can align our priorities so that we have, if possible, a common voice for common purpose when we go to the COP meetings.
Well, we could talk about COP
Yes.
on another discussion.
Yes.
You know, we're not happy with that. But anyway, So-
Leadership of COP.
We're going to confuse it with FIFA, right? Infantino.
But when you look at, very quickly, when you look at the issue of pollution, as Ernesto was alluding to, the complexion would be the same throughout the region, would it? Same concerns, same everything, or lack of the conscientiousness of the citizens as well in terms of disposals and all of that. Is it the same? You feel that same?
Practically, yes. And a lot of it comes with development. And so it is a problem that we all face, because that's always that striking that balance between the conservation of the environment and development. We have in the region, which are larger countries, a lot more people, so a bigger problem than we have. But it doesn't mean to say that it doesn't come our way. If there's a forest fire, for example, in Guatemala, in the Chiquibol, we have to be wary because it can come across.
Well,
if there's something in Mexico, along the Mexican-Belize border, we have to be cognizant of what's happening. That's one area that we are also addressing, because it is disastrous for our rainforest, but also for the watershed.
So
If
hold on,
those
are we
trees
being
go away.
affected more by them than we are affecting them? No.
Well,
Just-
yeah. What happens with us and Mexico? What happens with us between us
Because
and,
of where we
and
are.
Guatemala? So El Salvador is farther away, so very little. Panama, Costa Rica.
So it's
far
more
away.
because-
so the more
border-
Because
border
what we hear, the Guatemalan issue with the rivers is serious. I know,
Yes.
as a Rotarian, Rotary clubs all over Guatemala try to work with this pollution, so we know the the magnitude of that, and it's affecting us.
Correct.
And then we hear the garbage from Honduras is hitting the reef. You know, so I suspect these are going to be subjects that will be coming
Yes,
up.
so those are going to be addressed through the priority areas
Yes.
that we have identified. But but also we have to see how well we work within CCAD, because
Of course.
within these countries you also have NGOs and CBOs, community-based organizations, that are doing a lot of good work. And maybe sometimes we learn from them too.
And they get in the way too.
Sometimes, exactly. But for example, the Chiquibul, with us and
Yeah.
the relationship with us in Guatemala, there is this Asociación Balan
Yeah,
and
they
other
work
NGOs
across border.
that are doing a lot of good work there. And we have signed MOUs with them, with our forest department. The FCD has signed MOUs and agreements with Asociación Balan. They are planting trees. They have some systems that are put in place for wildlife conservation and management, which we learn from them because they have been in it longer than we have. So with CCAD, part of the whole structure is trying to see if we also learn from each other's
other.
experiences. Exactly.
Which will bring me, before we go to a question from Ms. Koyat, I want to ask her, because you know we've been trying to control plastic, which is a problem. ¿Cómo ha ido cuál dificultad tiene de controlar el uso del plástico en los otros países de Centroamérica? Porque aquí lo vemos, hasta legislación se ha pasado, leyes y todo eso, y siempre tenemos un problema con eso.
Ahí inciden varios aspectos, pero en eso precisamente que estamos trabajando con un proyecto específico que se llama de la Cuenca al Mar, que incluye
Cuenca al Mar.
el tema desde los plásticos desde el nacimiento, desde la cuenca hasta para controlarlo para que no
We're
lleguen al
controlling
mar.
it from the watershed to the sea.
También se trabaja a través de la educación ambiental, que es clave porque es un tema que se debe de inculcar desde pequeño. Entonces los ministerios generalmente tienen esos programas y nosotros pues lo apoyamos a través de los comités técnicos, que es parte de la gobernanza de la CCAD, y con el acompañamiento de los oficiales de enlace. Pero ciertamente el tema, y de hecho el tema de los plásticos y los residuos sólidos fue una de las prioridades que fueron aprobadas en la agenda política
It's a priority
del Consejo de Ministros.
for the area.
Y nosotros pues estamos trabajando fuertemente ese tema a nivel regional para precisamente ver cómo nosotros, vamos a decir, contribuimos a disminuir ese
¿Y cuáles son los prácticos usados para disminuir el uso del plástico?
Bueno,
en la
eso
región?
varía de
I'm
acuerdo.
asking her what activities are they using to reduce the use of plastic?
Eso varía de acuerdo a la legislación de cada país.
So each country has its own legislation.
Por ejemplo, hay países que tienen prohibido totalmente el foam, que son los envases.
Sí, de la comida.
Exactamente. Pero
De foam.
todo eso lleva una transición, porque por ejemplo, y es el ejemplo que se hay industrias dedicadas exclusivamente a elaborar. Entonces hay que buscar mecanismos alternativos para que se vaya disminuyendo la producción de esos materiales plásticos que tanto dañan a nuestros ecosistemas, incluso a la misma salud humana, porque ya se tienen evidencia de que está prácticamente los
Basically, she's saying that they're
microplásticos
working at reducing
en
the
todos
use of
los
the
sitios.
plastic. ¿Y cómo van los resultados? ¿Va disminuyendo el uso? I'm asking her if she's seeing a reduction in the use of plastic.
Sí, yo pienso, los datos no los tengo a mano porque realmente, pero sí, cada ministerio está haciendo un gran esfuerzo y de manera regional para ir disminuyendo cada día más el uso de esos plásticos.
Porque en
que son
algunos de esos
nocivos.
países centroamericanos hay fábricas que producen material de plástico. En Belice no, pero en otros países sí. Así es que I am commenting that in
Sí.
these countries they make plastic products.
Right.
Sí,
The
lo que,
legislation has to be different.
sí, así
Correct.
es.
So,
así es.
as a region, though, we have to see what we're doing because, for example, for Belize, we passed legislation on single-use plastics,
Right.
and part of the problem that we have in terms of compliance is that the importers will tell you, well, we're trying, but we can't find the
right,
biodegradable
the
products
biodegradable.
in the region. So we buy it. The documentation says yes, but when we bring it here and the DOE checks, it's it doesn't pass. We're asking for 52%, we have
Enforcement.
30%. So that's another thing that we have to look at, the alternatives. There are alternatives, and in Belize we can do alternatives. The problem will be the cost. For example, we can use bagasse, you can use hemp, you can use maybe banana stock to produce the materials for organic and biodegradable products. It will be expensive.
Yeah.
Recycling is more expensive.
Actually,
Sí, cambiar la tecnología.
Actually, within our calendar of activities for our pro tempore, we have a regional workshop on solid waste management.
waste management.
Dominican Republic is one of the leaders in terms of solid waste management. They are well advanced. On their pro tempore presidency, Minister, we visited a facility that they have, and it's a private facility that they
Right,
have that they do the recycling. Actually, they took a dump that was 30 years old and cleaned it completely and recycled
remember we tried
everything
that,
that was there.
We tried
Yeah,
that. We need
well,
a real-
because of the scale,
we know
maybe
why
it
that-
doesn't work
exactly.
because of the scale.
We're too small.
But we need to work as a region to find solutions to these things. Because if each one of us are doing our own legislation with different plastics, like we are not doing anything, because people
Agreed. We have to-
travel
we have to try.
around and we take the plastics
we have
away.
to we have to try.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to wish you well with the discussions that's going to be taking place this week, Minister, and Carlos and Ms. Callado as well. And we trust that we'll be able to find the best workable solution, because this is a problem that is consistent
yes.
and evasive. And we certainly, well, I think after the break we'll welcome back Minister along with the Chief Environmental Officer.
No, certainly.
to talk a little bit
There
more
was
on
one
the
thing
fish
that you
scale.
had asked on the relationship of SICA and how we can move
Okay.
that relationship within CARICOM. And 3 years ago, when we had the pro temp chair for SICA also, Prime Minister Briceño suggested at the heads of CARICOM that we try to see how we can work with Central America, because they are closer
Yes.
in terms of meteorology, in terms of fire management and everything else. And we had asked that some of that work be done possibly through 5Cs to bring the two entities, the two.
Okay.
Yeah, that discussion I would love to have with you with our relationship with SICA. How long are we a member of SICA now? Not very long.
No,
Not very
It's
long.
more recent. It's more
Yeah,
recent.
yeah,
know,
it's
I mean, we used to
about
thought
5,
we'll be the breadbaskets of the Caribbean and all that, but we're changing our relationship with the region.
I think even politically there has been the consideration of inviting Belize, since we are members of SICA, to be part of the Central American Parliament, El Parlacen, Central American.
Yes.
We are not yet, but that is a possibility.
Because our government system is a little different from
Correct.
theirs.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes,
and all that. That's a whole new area to talk about, and which would be very interesting.
Well-
We invite you to come back and
Sure.
how Belize is fitting within the Caribbean and the Central American region. That makes us very unique.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why we have Ms. Collado here.
Yeah, well, thanks very much. And we look forward to hearing more about how this is going to work, especially the project with the watershed.
Yes,
Yes.
certainly.
And the
Thank you.
Sargasso.
Ms. Agasso.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
The meeting will be
So
interesting.
this
tomorrow.
afternoon we have
problem.
the bilateral
Yeah.
meeting with Dominican Republic, and we invite the other ministers to
Sit in.
participate so that they see what we are doing, but also to bring them in to be part
Is
of
the
that.
Dominican Republic
excellent.
affected by Sargasso?
Absolutely.
Tremendously.
Heavily.
They are the first
Absolutely.
ones to get affected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, 20 minutes late, Ernesto.
We'll be back with more here on the morning show. Don't go away.
Good morning, Belize. Our latest radar observation showed the mainland was mostly dry, with a few thunderstorms observed just southeast of Dangriga. Moist and unstable conditions prevail over the area. The 24-hour forecast, cloudy at times today and tonight. A few showers, thunderstorms, and periods of rain are possible around the country this morning, especially over central and southern areas. Then, shower and thunderstorm activity will likely decrease this afternoon and become generally isolated tonight. The maximum temperatures for today will reach 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 91 inland, and 79 up in the hills. The low temperatures for tonight will be around 79 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 73 inland, and 67 up in the hills. The winds will be from the east at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea conditions will be choppy. A high tide will occur this morning at 9:19, followed by a low tide this evening at 4:28, another high tide tonight at 10:25, and another low tide early tomorrow morning at 3:48. The sun will set this evening at 6:20 and will rise early tomorrow morning at 5:35. The moon will set this evening at 6:30 and will rise early tomorrow morning at 6:24. In a sargassum forecast, there's a medium chance that a few more sargassum mats could drift ashore during the coming days, moderately impacting beaches across the country. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for generally fair weather. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated, except for a few more possible, mainly over central and southern areas late Thursday night. In the tropical weather outlook, showers and thunderstorms in association with a tropical wave located around 800 miles southwest of Cabo Verde Islands continue to show signs of organization. This system now has a high chance of becoming a tropical depression within a couple of days, while the system moves westward to west-northwestward across the central tropical Atlantic. This system currently poses no threat to Belize. Also, a broad area of low pressure located about 1,000 miles east-northeast of Bermuda has become less organized during the past few hours. This system has a medium chance of becoming a tropical depression or storm within the next couple of days, posing no threat to Belize. For a review of our forecast and other products, please visit our website at nms.gov.bz. Our next forecast comes out at 12 p.m. this afternoon. With that, we end this morning's forecast from the Belize National Met Service.
As Ashira
Well, we are at, let me see, whoa.
It's 12 minutes to
Like
8
you say, you
o'clock.
have good, when you're having fun, time
Time
flies.
fly fast. If you had to be at work at 8 and you're not on your way yet, you might be late. Yeah, we do have Minister Habit remain with us from the previous segment, Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Solid Waste Management, and he's also... Huh?
Environment, dealing with the environment.
Yeah, but I talk about what his ministry says.
Portfolio.
Yes, the portfolio says. And of course, we're joined also by the Chief Environmental Officer, Mr. Anthony Mai.
Morning.
Morning. You have become very important in the discussion recently, in particular, as the River Valley has been experiencing a significant amount of fish kill. We broke the story last week, Monday morning, very early, when persons kind of got up after Sunday and start to see the fish floating up. Give us a little insight of where we are now after that report, what has been done, and maybe where we go from here.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, when the Department of Environment receives a report of fish kill, we look at three possibilities. We look at the possibility of it being a disease. We look at the possibility of chemicals or toxins being deposited into the river. And we also look at the possibility of a large amount of organic matter going into the river. So those three different areas could lead to a fish kill. We sought local advice from local experts in relation to the disease as a possible cause. They suggested to us that they don't believe that it might be a disease because in fish, the disease are very specific. And so if you'd have a virus affecting the fish, it normally targets one specific species.
Okay.
And again, the evidence is clear. There's several different species of fish that was impacted. In fact, to some degree, turtles and crocodiles, etc., were also impacted. And so we have not fully ruled that out, but again, we focused on the other two options or causes, which is looking at the possibility of any chemical-related issue or organic-related issue. In relation to determine if it's a chemical input, the type of work that we have done and are doing is we have collected fish species from the river. We did a necropsy on it, so we did like a postmortem to determine the cause of death. And that was done by a local expert as well, Dr. Abel Carrillas. He determined that the cause of death of the fish was hypoxia, which is basically died because they didn't have enough oxygen to breathe. And there's several different evidence that shows that. Again, he suggested that it might not be chemical related because the results and the organs would have been damaged. The skin would have been darker in color, and there would have been more excessive blood within the tissue itself. But not because he said that he doesn't believe it's chemical related. Because of that, we just left that alone. We're in the process of collecting sediment samples from some of the farms within the area. We took, for example, sediment sample from Santander's effluent pond, from their drainage network, from the canal that leads to the river, and we are taking sediment samples from the river upstream. So we will run chemical analysis of those samples, that's water quality samples, to see if there is any connection. And not only with Santander, there is a rice farm north of Santander, about 380 acres, that we're also taking samples from. So we will do chemical analysis on the sediments. We will also do chemical analysis on the preserved fish tissue that we have to look at the possibility of it being chemical related. As you know, if it is chemical, normally the sediment would trap residues, right? So we'll be able to detect. We have in our laboratory a GCMS, and that's a highly accurate equipment that is able to detect chemical and chemical residues. One of the good things, again, with this approach is that we have worked extensively with several different agencies. The collaboration in this response was awesome. We had the Pesticide Control Board, for example, going to Santander to investigate the type of pesticides that they use just before the flooding event. And when we run the chemical analysis, we'll compare to whatever data they provide to us as well in relation to that. So in terms of the chemical approach, again, we'll be running chemical analysis on the fish tissue as well. We believe that at the end of the day, that will tell us a particular story. And all of these tests and studies and analysis will be done in country, in our labs. And we're working with Baja, because Baja has what is called an LCMS. They will assist us with running some of the fish tissue for chemical analysis as well.
Okay.
So disease is pretty much
It's
to
liquid
some degree.
chromatography.
Yes, liquid
Chromatography.
yeah, mass spectroscopy. Right?
Okay.
So Baja's equipment complements the one that we have. So nationally, our national capacity to do tests in country has increased significantly now. We don't have to send these things. Previous fish kill, we had to send sample abroad. Now we could do it locally.
What
with
are the
local experts.
timetable that you think you will have some sort of definitive results?
So we are hoping by the ending of this week we will done with most of the chemical analysis. The only one that will take maybe up to midweek or ending of the next week is the soil, the sediment analysis. The sediment analysis is being done with the help of SIRDI. So again, locally done here.
So
with our
because
expert.
you actually, when you say you're testing the water. You have the water
sir.
and testing what's in the water.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You do
Testing
that.
it, running it through an equipment. The equipment has a library of chemical substances. The equipment uses photo or light, and then the light reflects on the analyte, the sample, and then it gives you peaks and it shows you
And
the
identifies what.
what is in the
Because-
is in-
I mean, you have all the scientific terms and so on, but to us out here, all we know the fish dead.
Yes, sir.
And there's probably poison in the water.
Yeah.
So you want to find out what is poisoning the fish.
Exactly. So if it is poison, we want to find out if it is chemical related, and we have the samples already. We have the equipment that we are running the samples in.
And we
then
can do
have,
that here.
We could do it here. So we have Dr. Apollonio Aguilar, the Dean of the Science and Technology from UB, who is assisting us in interpreting the results from the GCMS. And so what we're running it is called a broad spectrum analysis. So we're telling the machine, check for everything. And then when the spikes come up, then we could say, okay, these two are chemicals of concern, then we'll do further analysis on those.
Now, what's the balance? I mean, you say we have farms and we have along the river.
Yeah.
The chances that this could be natural as opposed to man-made.
Well, that's the way the data, or at least what the data is showing, goes towards that a bit. And I say that because, we kind of ruled out disease. We're looking extensively at chemical possibility. So then the other avenue is also to look at the possibility of having a high amount of organic matter going into the river. So what we did in relation to that is we went on the river, we collected water quality samples from the river, and the water quality result shows that, so we did what is called in situ sampling, that means sampling on site. So we found that the dissolved oxygen level was excessively low between St. Paul's Bank and Grace Bank. And that is where, when we observed, that is where the fish kill was more prevalent.
What about
so
the turtle and the crocodile?
Sure,
Was that in
I'll-
the same area?
Yes, sir, the same area, the same general area. So the dissolved oxygen was very low, and normally dissolved oxygen goes low if you add organic matter and a high amount of organic matter to a water body. Also, chlorophyll A levels were elevated. So we have the equipment that we have tests for chlorophyll A, and chlorophyll A basically speaks to algae in the water, the amount of algae. For example, some of the readings we got around Isabella Bank was like 7.9, which is mid-range. It's higher than that, leads to significant eutrophication. So eutrophication is buildup of algae in a water body, and what that does is that in itself draws down on dissolved oxygen. And the reason why eutrophication is caused is because you add high amount of nutrients, so phosphates, nitrates, into a water body, and then it causes the proliferation or the rapid growth of this algae. The algae within our water system, there's a type of algae that produces mycotoxin. So, for example, I got a call from a concerned citizen and said that her son, around the time, went into the Belize River to get an object that was in the river. And when he came out the following day, he went out and he said she knows that it was caused by the river because he only went into his waist, and then when he came out the following day, he had some little flashes on him. And so I told her that it could be as a result of the mycotoxins from these algae. And so the mycotoxins from these algae could cause the death of the turtle and the crocodile. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is that whenever a water body, the dissolved oxygen in a water body decreases, there's two types of bacteria generally. There's bacteria that uses oxygen, and there's bacteria that thrives well without oxygen. So when the oxygen level in water goes down, the bacteria that doesn't use oxygen proliferate, and these bacteria produces gases. So there's a type that produces methane, for example. There's other type that produces hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide is very toxic at low concentration, even for humans, and it's a very heavy gas. So when this gas is produced in the river, it floats and it doesn't dissipate. It stays and floats just above the water line, and this is where the turtles and the crocodile breeds. Sorry, Minister.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying that they just come up to the surface, and that's when they breathe, and then they take in all
and
that
they-
gas.
Yeah,
Sound like
so that
a-
could
it sound like
explain-
a-
Yes, sir.
That to
like a
some extent.
multi-causing effect you're having here.
Yeah.
In the water and above the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it shows how in terms of ecosystem function, everything is connected. Everything leads to something else. And so, again, for the people who have studied science, you know that in ecology, they teach you that ecology works well when it is in balance with everything.
Yeah, that's
Once
the
you
balance.
move or you change something,
Something
it's a
disturbs
chain
the
reaction.
balance.
And then everything's...
In terms of river, the concept of the river always, it's a running body of water for the most part.
Yes.
I mean, unlike maybe the New River, which has been reported to be more flat.
Mhm.
But how important it is for a continuous flow to kind of maybe
Yeah.
see if we could flush that out.
Yeah.
But then again, we end up with that going into the sea.
Yeah.
Right, but we have done some damage to the river in years and years past. One, I personally think that river mining has damaged the river a lot. It has changed course of the river. It has caused a lot of erosion from the river banks. All that siltation, some settles to the bottom of the river. Most of it eventually ends up in the sea. Soil has
Farming, right?
has-
Farming,
yeah, farming.
runoff.
Farming also. You have farm runoff with fertilizers, with pesticides, especially if they don't adhere to the 66 feet reserve or buffer that should be between the water body and the land. So it's a problem. So when Ernesto asked about the possibility of a natural cause, it makes also sense, right? Because 4 weeks ago we had that big flooding event when we had about 10.5 inches of rain around the Belmopan area,
Yeah.
which is around that area, and everywhere was flooded. We couldn't pass from here to San Ignacio to here.
area we're testing now was flooded?
Yes,
That
sir.
entire area was flooded.
Yeah.
I was telling Mr. Mai that whilst the public want an immediate answer and to pinpoint on somebody or something, that is important. But for us, more important was to find a solution, to see if the death of the fish can stop. What is it that we need to do? And then the blame will come later when
You have to find the cause.
Exactly. So you have to find a cause.
That's what we need.
Belize has become very,
Sensing
very,
data.
very litigious. We litigate for everything, and then you can be sued if you don't have the right information and accuse somebody wrongly.
Somebody
But-
asking if they,
but-
if they
but-
think they drop a dynamite in there,
But Ernesto, I was
kill the
telling,
fish, get it
right.
downstream. But I don't
There
think
is-
so.
if-
Yeah.
if people want to see a very good article, Mr. Omar Silva posted something on Facebook that is really well done. Partly he compiled some data that he collected, and it is telling you that there is a possibility of natural cause, especially after a drought followed by a flooding event. And then if you have farms around that have organic material after harvesting everything else, then all that loose soil, loose debris is washed away into the streams and then eventually into the river. And it takes approximately 3 weeks to 4 weeks for all that to start its process of aerobic or anaerobic fermentation and thing. And then farther downstream, then you see the fish kill and everything else.
And you would
So-
think that would occur where the water flattens out?
It's exactly. That's what you
Exactly.
observe. So normally where
You have all
the
these
water
eddies
runs
and-
fast, the water quality improves. When it slows down and stagnates is where the
Yes.
problem is.
Okay.
Well,
so-
obviously, that's a reaction. However, we do know that human activity has affected our rivers. And at some point, when you find the cause, which we will find the cause, I suspect, it could exonerate, because everybody suspect the farms and the mill and are causing this, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you will be able to exonerate or find out where the original problem
Well,
came
But
the
the
important
data
thing
is-
is
One or two
yeah.
or three or all of them.
So
Yeah,
the
that's
data,
right.
the data that we have now, including the satellite imagery. So we have satellite imagery to show that just before the fish kill, there's a rice farm north of Santander that was completely inundated. South of Santander was inundated. And then within, so there's other farms within the area that were fully flooded. And again, we have the date when those water receded and went into the river. But also, something that is also important is that we have data to show that between January of this year and now, closely around 3,000 acres within that same general area had been cleared.
Wow.
So it's land clearing. Generally, it's agricultural development, right? And the flooding event, the runoff from those activities went into the river.
Now,
and
when
we
you
have
said the
problems.
flooding occurred at these fields, there were chemicals in the ground, right?
So there
Or
were
some kind of chemical.
So generally, generally
Fertilizer,
there's some
I guess, something
agrochemicals.
like that.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll detect some of those when we do the chemical analysis. But again, the biggest issue was regards to the high organic content.
Yeah.
Especially from. So if you know how rice is grown, normally you grow rice, you flood the rice,
Flood the rice,
and
then
then,
empty it-
and then you empty it into it, right?
Yeah.
And so so those in terms of moving forward, we need to have very strong communication or conversations with farmers within the general area, because we have to put something in place or several measures in place to either avoid or significantly reduce the possibility of this happening again. Again, the significance of Belize River to Belize cannot be overstated. I mean, the Belize River, basically, a majority of our population depend on the health
Well,
of this
that was
water.
going to bring my question.
Yes,
Where are we with BWS in this situation now?
They were very, very.
Are they in
they
discussion?
they were very
Are they
participatory
being-
from the very first day.
Are
Yes.
they, do they have to up their, I don't know, protective filters or whatever? Is that happening?
I don't know exactly
they have
what
to
they
take
have
any-
done,
any-
but it was very concerning for them, because Double Run is where they access their water.
Right.
And they possibly increase the filtration, and on their press release also, they also advised, along with the DOE and the reports that came out, that people should not drink the water directly from the river, do not eat the fish, everything else. But their water that they were producing was safe for consumption. And so they were, along with the team, daily getting information and participating and helping also to formulate the press release to make certain that everything that goes there is exactly as it is. Very concerning and very important for us too, because the public has to have that confidence that the water that they will be consuming is safe to consume.
In terms of the information that you anticipate might come out of these tests, could it then mean that there has to be a change in how we operate significantly?
Indeed. So what we are proposing, at least for now, from a general standpoint, because there are some general recommendation and then more specific recommendation that we have. A general recommendation at this point would be to really relook at the watershed management plan that we have for the Belize River, not DOE, but the country, and to really focus a lot of our attention on agricultural development within this area. So, for example, one of the things that we need to consider is having rice fields so close to the Belize River. So that is a major concern.
Or isn't that part of the
Necessity?
culture? We build everything on the riverside.
You want the
because
water
it's-
for irrigation.
And-
Eventually,
and-
when it's harvest time, you have to let it go again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what
So
happens?
we're kind of like.
And it's not
It's
not
a
only rice.
catch-22.
It's not
But-
only rice. It's not only cattle. Down south we have the shrimp farms and everything else, and the water goes back eventually.
But this is
You
a
treat
very
it and you recycle it. Maybe it has to, but eventually something will let go.
Indeed. But this is a very good example of when people speaks about sustainable development. And so you want the country to grow economically. You want to ensure that the population have a very good livelihood. But to what expense? And so while development is important for the country, environmental protection is similarly important. And so these activities could be done, but it is how it is done and where it is done, right? And even though that may come at additional costs, I mean, it's still, the increased cost could be offset by ensuring that the environment is being protected.
But by now we have
in this
standards, right? If anybody's having a farm or growing rice, already you go in and say, okay, this you can use, this you can't use. We should be doing that by now already.
And we have a new land use policy in place, which falls now under the Ministry of Natural Resources. They will have a dedicated desk that will be in charge of looking at land use policy. So right now you get a piece of leased land, for example, and there's a document that says you can't be more than 66 feet or lesser than 66 feet away from from a river, or you can't be 50 feet on either side of a hydro line, whatever it is. With the land use policy now, some of those might change, some might stay, but there might be additional things that will be put in place, because not only for agriculture, but even for us as politicians, we try to find land space for community expansion, town expansion, village expansion, and many times we get a parcel of land because it's vacant, and you go and you get it surveyed, and a year later you notice that nobody can live there because it's water or flood prone. So that is a problem. So we have to look at the use of those areas. But as Mr. Mai was saying, it is very important that we relook at what has been done before, what we are currently doing, and what we can prevent from being done. He also mentioned the issue of the coloration of the water in those areas. They didn't only do tests right below where the fish kill was, but also came up towards where Santander was. They looked at Big Falls area, and they came up river above the Santander place, just to make certain that to check to see the water quality, the coloration there versus the other side.
Is this similar to what happened in Orange Walk?
So the change in the ecosystem is somewhat similar, but
the one in Orange Walk was caused a human fault, right?
Yeah, and similarly, the cause of it, while people at that time pointed at BSI, again there were several. While BSI contributed, and in this case Santander is contributing as well, it is also caused by other entities. In the case of Orange Walk, we mentioned that. Again, the municipal drains run directly into the river unfiltered. The wastewater from some of these Cantortia factory goes directly into the river unfiltered. And so we get criticized because people say, well, all the DOE did in Orange Walk was blame the municipality, and we didn't say that. We say that the community, industry,
you have the Mennonite community of Shipyard. Sam is right by the river.
It's a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Right now, are the fish still dying? What's the situation now? Are we seeing more fish floating?
So the information we have right now is that thing is improving. So the minister mentioned that BWSL was very helpful. In fact, when the event was occurring, BWSL did hourly water quality monitoring at the Double Run facility. And so we have teams that will go back on site on the river to determine the change. But from all the information we are collecting, it suggests that the water is improving. Now we expect that the algae bloom will be floating down towards the Caribbean Sea, and so we'll be monitoring to see if there's any impact
I believe that will be more diluted because the water body is bigger.
Yes, sir.
And yesterday we got about 2 inches of rain.
Let me ask you,
a good flood would help. A good flush.
Yeah, we need a good flood.
Indeed.
As a matter of fact, we had contacted Hydro Belize for the possibility of them releasing some water from the dam to push down the water and dilute a little bit. Eventually, it wasn't necessary because the recuperation was faster than we could.
But I mean, the faster you get it done, the better.
Yes, of course.
And they have water, right? The hydro has water.
Has water. They always want more, of course.
The general feeling, though, is people are waiting for the all clear.
Yeah.
Especially in that area. Because
Who for blame?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So basically, there's two things. One is we want to wait until we're finished with the chemical analysis because that's the greatest concern from a human health perspective.
Yeah.
And so once we are clear with that, then we could issue a better advisory, hopefully. But we're also planning to go into the community and have village meetings. So we want to go to the villages that were impacted. And invite them out to a public meeting and then share the information that we have and give them the opportunity to ask questions. In fact, we believe that there are several things that we could learn from people in the village so that when we do this, we could do it better into the future.
Excellent. Yes, well, it was certainly scary for us when we first heard it last week. Because, and because of the amount of communities that were being impacted at that point in time. And so, because I recall way back, I was telling Ernesto yesterday when we had it in Belize City, when there was a release of cyanide into the water that was used to make nails and so, and it created a huge long time ago, but that was like one of the first time I kind of realized that, you could poison the water that everybody else uses, and so that became concerning for me.
Indeed, indeed.
And because those persons, the livestock, everything is dependent on that water source.
Yes.
My final question on this whole process is that how do we overarchingly combat this whole concept of chemical use, especially in agriculture, because it's a form of technology that enhances, but you're saying that this is becoming more difficult to create that balance.
Yeah.
How important from an authority standpoint and what it is that maybe can be done, because enforcement becomes an issue. Farms are popping up all over and you don't have no control about when somebody take 10 acres and decide to plow it and throw down some seeds.
Yeah, I think a lot of farmers look at productivity as an issue, and productivity doesn't really only come from the system that you have in place, but it comes from even way back looking at the genetic material that they're using as seeds. Are we using seeds that, for example, for corn, that come from Pioneer from the United States, that come from these more temperate states to grow in a subtropical region like Belize? Will it do the same performance? No. So what they do, they dump a lot more fertilizer, because I say, okay, if I put more fertilizer, I'll get the same productivity. No, it doesn't work that way. Your soil type, your water type, you are using irrigation, whatever. So we use more, we may be using more fertilizers, we might be using more pesticides to get our crop. The pesticides, because, okay, so it's almost time for harvesting, but I get a bug and I need to spray it, otherwise I lose the crop. So you spray it with these pesticides. So there has to be some control. We work also with BAHA, the Pesticide Control Board, so they are also looking at some of these imported pesticides, what is still permitted to be used, what should not be used. And then there's the concept of organic farming. Organic farming is expensive.
There's no
the
perfect
production
way,
might not be the same, but organic farming...
Is there penalties for corporate malfeasance?
Should be, yes. Should be.
Just in case if it comes out that way?
Yeah. But Troy, Ernesto, invariably, people are listening to us now, and when you look at the comments, there will be negative comments, because there have been for everything. And people are listening, and everybody has their own opinion. People are opinionated. But I am happy to know that even though you see some negative comments, you see some positive ones, and the positive ones you see come from people who know, from professionals. I was telling Chief Mai that I saw, above all the negative comments that came out, because of the procedures they have taken, and they say, okay, well, it's taking too long, maybe, but we have to get the things right. But I saw a comment from Mr. George Maivet, a former fisheries officer for many years, very knowledgeable, senior fisheries officer, and he agreed with the process that the DOE was taking. So you know that there are other people who know. And then you see maybe some NGOs that are posting something that say, okay, we want more, but we agree with what is being done.
Well, I think that's one of the things we talk about here a lot. We overcome by emotions, and then the professional side has to kind of keep common sense going, because that's important for any society to prosper.
But the emotions have a basis, because, like I said, you don't trust the system. You know, and the system has to develop that trust. Because in many cases, we don't get the full answer at the end of the day.
Well, Mr. Mai just mentioned sometimes we do great work and we have to blame ourselves for not putting it out there.
That's right.
Maybe not putting it out in time, or maybe not putting it out at all. The good thing right now with the Department of Environment, and for many years, is that the information that you want, their information is public. They have a website, you can go, you can look at everything.
For argument's sake, Minister, if there is going to be a delay in these results being finalized, say for mid next week, that's a bit too long. So maybe by tomorrow a release is out saying,
yes,
this is the schedule going forward. We're doing all of these things so that there is still something for persons to latch on to, that something is being done, it's not being left. Because people always believe that there's some hanky-panky going on in the back room, right? That they collude with the corporate citizens to kind of hide the information. And so So it's to give that level of comfort.
Find the
because-
minister right down there.
Accountability
Yes,
is one
yeah,
of
yeah,
our
yeah,
weaknesses.
yeah, yeah.
So
nobody
so,
is
so it's always
nobody
good
to blame.
to say
Right.
something,
Yeah.
Right.
even if it's
Indeed.
just to repeat the same thing
Yeah.
over.
Right. But,
It's to show that you're engaged.
what many people don't know is the work and effort that the department and the team has
Then tell
been
them.
doing for the last 7, 8 days. These people were out there in the river the very next day as soon as they got information, along with Minister
We not got PR?
Marconi,
We not
along
got
with
PR
Minister
department.
Marconi from who is the area representative for the area.
You have to tell them.
He was directly involved.
Yeah, he was on the river.
BWS, MIDH, Fisheries Department, UB, everybody was there. Our team was out in the river 12:30 in the morning, 12:30 at night. Their boat capsized, the propellers broke because they can't see the stones at night. People don't know that, but these guys are out there working.
You don't have a press office?
Well, you say
We-
PR office.
we have-
PR officer.
With camera equipment and so on. They should be out there.
Yeah.
Just like when, we want to bring out something, we run out the camera and stick
Yes.
it in
Yeah,
your
yeah,
face.
yeah.
Yes,
They
yes.
should be sticking it
Yeah,
in
yeah.
your face and feeding us that information.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed,
indeed.
indeed.
That's their job.
I maintain the government had the resources, use it. Because oftentimes the government, they're behind the story. And then tabloids take over.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then people start to form their own opinion. And then, of course, with social media, we're so immediate.
Yeah.
Then the emotion takes over and then you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
So
But the next thing I'd like to ask is that if there are entities out there, individual, professionals, NGOs that also have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the experience, the know-how, and they see something like this, instead of writing something negative, come in, call the department, let's work together, let's see how we can find a solution, because it's for Belize.
Remember, they have their own agenda.
agenda.
You know who pay them, right?
Well, we reach out to the to BNN and we inform them that, listen, so we have, by
And
the
some
end of
people
this
are not as brave as maybe me and Ernesto to take positions.
Yeah.
Because they know what, they're not prepared for the backlash.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less. I guess Ernesto feel the same way. I will state my position. Yeah, exactly. So me as well. So the point is not everybody is as brave or bold.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but we have to start moving out away from that little personal thing that we are protecting and looking at the broader picture. Yes, it's the Belize River. Yes, it's the Belize River Valley, but in a way, it's national because they are
It
our
is.
people, and we need to see that we protect them and their river, their food source, their livelihood, their transportation source.
Yeah.
Somebody said on one of our shows, I think yesterday, that and they called and said, well, the lagoons will not be affected because the water doesn't go from the lagoon comes to the water. No, every time the Belize River floods with a big flood, it floods up the lagoon.
There was that conflicting discussion because somebody said yes and somebody said no. But the point is, that's what happened. You pointed out that everybody becomes an expert and these issues, and that is why important for the technical people to get out there first.
Yeah. When I realized that first was during COVID. Every single person on Facebook was a specialist in lung function and respiratory diseases.
Everybody was their own function.
Yes.
Well, we got to go.
Okay, guys, we're running out of time here.
Yes. And so any final thing that you want to leave us with, Mr. Mai?
But just to give the public an assurance that again, we know what we're doing. We rely on local experts. We have the capacity in country to run the analysis and come up with the information. Yeah. We hope by the ending of this week we will have some of the chemical analysis finalized. By mid next week we should have everything done. We also are planning to do, like I said, some of the village public meeting, which is important. We'll share with the village and give them the opportunity to ask questions, etc. And so hopefully, we put this behind us and then work towards preventing this from happening again or significantly reducing it from happening again.
Yeah. But these are just a comment. You don't have to say anything. He said, why can't we plant GMO seed as the larger countries like the USA, Honduras, and other countries and reduce chemicals that are damaging the environment?
It's a whole different discussion.
Well, they said it's a whole different discussion.
That's
Agriculture has to
that
come
one
into
is
it.
GMO.
That is easy.
Yeah.
Scale.
Okay.
Belize is a small country. If we plant GMO corn seed, for example, who will we sell to? The GMO corn that the U.S. produces, that Argentina produces, that Brazil produces, fetches about $7 per bushel. The non-GMO corn that Belize produces, which is food-grade corn and not feed-grade corn, fetches 42 cents Belize per pound. So what do we want? A niche market where we can fetch a good price because we have a high-quality A-grade corn, or do we want that low-quality corn that is
want it like
specifically
7 cents, no?
exactly?
And
And then the scale.
Okay.
All of Belize put together, with all the corn that we produce, doesn't even the amount of corn that one big farmer in Iowa and Utah produces. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's a problem.
Great. Well, I want to thank you, Minister Habet, as well as you, CEO Mai.
And before you go, GMO not necessarily mean better for you.
No, not at all.
No,
Remember, it's
Yeah.
GMO says genetically modified.
Modified. Yes,
Not
yes.
natural.
Okay.
Yes, but like, I'm just saying that
Yeah,
they
no,
were
the
thinking
color.
that the chemical you didn't have to do.
But
all
but
these
I can give a
pesticides and
quick
stuff.
example of the marketing part of it also. The Mennonites in Spanish Coast have a mill that they produce corn grit for porridge. Jamaica used to import from the U.S. They said they wanted to make a trip here. We brought them when I was working with the Poultry Association. They look at what we are producing. Listen, we want to buy all the corn grit from you, as long as it is non-GMO. If it's GMO,
Anyway,
we don't want it.
We have to pay for food raise
Yeah, we have
our
to pay for
beans,
it.
so we have to go to a break.
24
Thank you
minutes
very
after
much.
8 o'clock, we bust right through the break, but nonetheless, I thought it was important to keep it going. So we take a break, Ernesto?
Yeah, we take a break. We'll be right back.
Every connection we make
The time is 8:30, and of course this is the morning show, and we've been covering topics that are of interest and of importance to our country. We started out obviously with what's the main discussion at the moment, the whole DG and the VTL and SMART issue. And we took a look at our involvement in Central America.
Yeah.
You know, only until recently we become involved with Central America. You know, even though we are Central Americans, but we've never considered ourselves to be. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air. This is Love. Thank you for calling.
Good morning.
Good morning.
New and very important topic.
All right.
Now, if you look in America, sport is a great business. Many people who involved with professional sports are being rich people. Those sports stadiums are filled to capacity because sport is taught in the schools. So people take sport as part of their life. Now in Belize, we have especially the cricket in Belize that is killed by the government.
Cricket is killed by the government?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will explain a little bit more.
Explain that to me.
I will explain a little bit more but let's leave it a little bit. Because some of the questions you asked me, I will not be able to answer thoroughly.
But you're making a statement, man.
All right, go ahead.
I will continue. I'll come back there, man.
Now go ahead. Go ahead.
Number one, we have MTC ground, which is there for cricket. MTC means Marylebone Cricket Club. A person from England that was a part of the Marylebone Cricket Club in England has given that to cricket. Government or whoever is responsible took it away from cricket and give it to football and other things and whatever. Cricket cannot be played there on their own ground. Anyway, my present position right now is that the police have stopped cricket from playing in Belize Rural. Cricket in the Belize Rural is the traditional Creole sport that we inherited from colonialism.
Who you say stop it? Who you say stopped it?
The police.
The police?
The police, as far as
But why?
I remember I said I will
No.
not
But the
be
question
able
would be why was it stopped? You know?
Hold on, remember,
Yeah,
I
tell
said
me.
there are some questions I will not be able to answer properly or
Okay.
thoroughly.
But go ahead. You go ahead and make a
Okay.
point.
So I want to get across what is happening. Now, the people in that area cannot play their cricket for two competitions now. It has been stopped. 2 years it has been stopped. And I am definitely disappointed about it because I am, and I will give you my name, Glixton Bennett. I have revived and restarted cricket in 1984. It is playing for 42 years now. And I'm so disappointed that we cannot even play cricket here and still have to represent ourselves in the Caribbean. Because the Caribbean every place in the Caribbean play cricket. And we still have to represent
Mr. Bennett,
in ITC and we
Mr.
cannot
Bennett,
play game at home.
Mr. Bennett, who is the president right now of the Cricket Association? I'm just asking. So there's a point of reference.
Dwight Gabb of Willows Bank.
Dwight, okay.
Anyway, His hands are tied. It seems that we cannot move up nor
No,
down.
well, I know the right.
I am
But
calling on
he was here on the couch about 3 weeks ago when they had this whole issue with
Right
with the
right
youth with the
after that-
youth cricket.
Right after that, police went and stopped them, and they say they cannot play any more games.
Okay, well, I put out a
maybe
call
you
to
can-
Dwight to
Maybe you,
let me
maybe
know.
you can get in contact with him and find out the rest. I don't know the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Yes.
me just continue to give you what is happening. I am calling on the Sport Council. I'm calling on the Minister of Tourism, the Minister of Sport, the area representative, to do something about this, because our sport cannot be killed like that. If you kill cricket in the rural, in the East River Valley, you are killing the villages there.
Okay.
That's their main. That is their main way of recreating, and also producing cricketers to send outside, and also it's a way of turning over the economy. I am calling on the people who are playing cricket to continue play your friendly games. The police cannot stop you from playing friendly games. Have a sister team that you can play against, that we can continue. We are be able to choose cricketers to send outside. The other day, about a month ago, we have sent a team to Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
We have looked so bad because we cannot play here in Belize. I am calling on all authorities and everybody who is involved to do something more than what we are doing. We must get our cricket playing back in the rural.
Okay.
All right,
I
go ahead
did know
and
that.
ask me what you want to ask me now.
No, I think I'm okay
You're
with-
fine. If you said they stopped it, we'll try and get in touch with the
Yeah,
president.
yeah.
I'll find out what's going on. I
Yeah.
mean, why did they stop it?
We have a reference point, so we'll go from there.
Yes, try get in contact with the president.
Yes.
Oh,
And
so
I'm
wait,
surprised he hasn't come up and said this.
Yeah.
Uh,
all right. Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, but I am calling on the team to continue practice cricket and keep it alive in their village. If it's only friendly games or it's only practice.
So you can't play cricket and you're talking about the whole River Valley area?
Yes. I am saying.
I
No
don't
song,
know.
right?
But let us not speculate. Let us find out. I hear what you're saying. I'm not anyway deducing what you're
just get
saying
across this
or
point.
reducing what you're saying. I'm just saying.
Let me just get across this point. Practicing cricket is a different thing from playing the competition. They have stopped the competition. They didn't stop us from practicing cricket. They didn't stop us from playing friendly games. So the cricketers in the rural should continue to practice cricket and continue to play friendly games. Because
All right.
what they stop us from playing is the competition. And I don't see any harm or any problem in practicing cricket in your own vicinity.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll find out what's going on.
Yeah.
You
I'm
stop
not-
it from playing.
I don't know that. That's what is it? Must be.
Hello? Hello? Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Okay, I want to talk about crime and
Yes,
the
sir.
police. I think that in Ladyville area, Ladyville Large Bank, and that rural area, the police, they need to do a deep reorganization and shuffle, because there is a group of burglars. They are very equipped and well organized, that are targeting businesses, homes, and different establishments in the area. And what the Ladyville police need to do is get assistance with a team of special detectives, and even in responding to crime, they need to seek assistance from the PDF soldiers that are right there in Ladyville at Price Barracks. They need to have backup. They need to have a real active policing unit in Ladyville area, Ladyville Large Bank.
Okay,
I
okay.
hope someone can pass on this message
They are listening,
to the
sir.
minister to
They are
see if
listening.
something can be done, because these burglars, they attack businesses at will, and they are teams, and they act like they have lookouts. We have them on video
surveillance, how they work. They walk around with these torch stuff to bust the locks, well-equipped burglars. But why is it that the police cannot capture these culprits? Why is it that they are not being studied and a special team set out the police team? Sorry about the noise, because the police need to do more groundwork and go out. But also, I would like to ask the public. The public needs to assist the police. The police alone cannot fight crime. The community needs to assist
the police
and help and our policemen. So that is my main agenda.
No,
this
very
morning.
good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing that up to light. But then you're saying the police who are there are aware of these burglars, just that they need more help.
Exactly. I think they're understaffed because it's a wide area. I'm glad you raised that point, Ernesto. It's a huge area, and the amount of police for that area, with that population and that area has developed, far outspan they cannot do the work they are supposed to do as a police force,
Okay.
a police unit, a police detachment.
And that's in Ladyville,
That's a Ladyville, Large Bank area.
area.
The rural area there.
Okay.
Even patrols and so on are very scarce. If they're in one area, a whole wide area, a whole gap is left open. What we need is motorcycle teams. And the motorcycle team should not rest at night, because I understand they rest at night. They work in day and rest at night. No, we must have motorcycles to respond quickly and efficiently. And also, but the police must continue their detective work. If a crime occurs, they mustn't stop it right there. They must continue on and investigating and pursue these criminals.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, thank you so much. You all have a nice day.
You too.
You too. And again, I like the point he says the community needs to help.
Yeah, it's
They
a
need to help the
phenomenon
police.
that I see that is now being done.
You're in a neighborhood.
Yeah, more down, but
yeah.
but the point is, it doesn't matter where it is that you are. We are seeing now that these criminals are getting organized in the sense that they go in pack now.
Yeah.
So and they're going equipped, and they go with a plan. Recently, I think it was in the news, if not yesterday, the day before, that the police intercepted a group that actually had plans and all of that businesses. So they're staking out and they're planning just like movies. So the police have to get as sophisticated, because the criminals are not just these one-off opportunists.
No.
They are structured.
It's a career for them.
And so you need to get a handle on it before you start with these level of extortion and all the other negativity that comes, because the criminals are going to start to want to elevate their position.
That's right. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
President, good morning to you, Mr. Ernesto and
You
Mr.
need to
Troy.
go down
Good
there.
morning, sir.
Yeah.
Orlando from Scotland Half Moon.
Yes, sir.
I never gave a good listening to the gentleman on the media just a while ago. But few things that I want to know. Can they determine exactly what is in the water?
Yes.
Or they can only say what they
No.
think?
They say they will determine exactly what's in the water.
Exactly what is in the water.
Yes, they will.
That is good, because almost everybody know composition of material that fall in the
Yeah,
water.
they say
because
they'll be able to tell what's in the water.
And we also fertilizer
Yeah.
to be one of the big contributors
Yeah.
to these
They
things.
mentioned that chemicals,
No
things
oxygen
like
in
that.
the water, because
Yes.
after hurricane, after 61 hurricane, a lot of fish was all over the place because of the trees and leaves, everything that was in the water, no?
Correct.
So I want to listen to say, because we don't want to determine exactly what kind of chemical poison, whatever they want to call it,
He said they
in the
can.
water. Then we could know how we think about it, no?
Yeah.
Anyhow, but thank you. I continue listening to the program. Thanks.
No problem.
Sure.
We'll take a break. We'll be back and close the show.
Take a break.
11 minutes away from the 9 o'clock hour, and we're coming to a close of this morning's edition of The Morning Show. And let's see. Do you have anything there from
One quick thing. I just wanted to point out, because yesterday in the news I noticed that there was a statement made that the Senate didn't get an opportunity to discuss with the BTL people on this
directly with the board, BTL board.
With BTL, no, I just use BTL because I can't be specific as to who, but I would share a letter that was sent back in February of 2026, where BTL was requesting an opportunity to present to the honorable members of the Senate. And the indication I get that they didn't get any response reference that. So that's a matter that could be looked into, because, I found it a little bit odd that the Senate, who is a part of the body that makes some form of ratification decision, didn't get an opportunity, so they were afforded a chance.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
I'm sorry I missed the experts on water, and experts on water and the river. You know that our rivers have become septic tanks. Septic tanks, our rivers. All the waste from Melchor goes into the Mopan River.
Wow.
All the waste from Benkepi, you go there when it is raining and you want to see it, goes into the Mopan. You come down San Ignacio, all the entire, this is actually
the Mopan goes into Guatemala.
Into two creeks, one right by the market and one just above where the boat was.
Oh, yeah?
When it rains, you go there and you see that thing flushing into the river. So actually, a policy has to be developed to try to save that sacred Belize or river. We are looking at what occurred now, yes, but we are not looking at what is occurring on a daily basis. Every time it rains, I go down sometime and you see the whole water from San Ignacio flushing into the Belize River. And you know what goes there? Overflowing septic tanks, all the waste of
everything.
The rubbish. So I'm just bringing this up because I believe that government has to begin to think a bit further that we don't lose our rivers.
Yes.
Because they are being polluted. Not to mention down the river, well, as you mentioned just now, these farms have gone to, there's no longer a buffer zone. There should be a buffer at every river. I think it was 200 feet, if I don't forget, during Sunday, 100 days, 200 feet, you couldn't do clean there. Now the cleaning goes right into the river edge.
Okay.
That's my card for
Thank
this
you.
morning.
Yes, thank
you.
you. That's true. The whole the world is
Ernesto, wrap your head around this. I think you just mentioned it. The Lakers sold for $12 billion. $12 billion US dollars. That's about 20 years worth of our
team.
That's about 20 years worth of our budget.
Yeah.
For 20 years, we could run a budget.
We could
give or take.
They could buy Belize and take care of us.
20. $12 billion. Imagine that.
That's why we have to what
somebody
somebody out there might be saying, how that's my business? How do I care?
Well,
you care. Hold on. We in politics, outside of Belize right now. Yeah, you could. I mean, you don't want to follow that.
I'm just adding
we
it
just
that a change of pace, right?
Pace.
To kind of say, while we are here grappling about 80 million, somebody take 12 billion and buy one basketball team. It's like as I say potential.
There is money.
Somebody might say, but why you pay 12 billion because you don't get value for money? That's not worth 12 billion.
They say that.
But the person might say just the thought that I own the Lakers is probably worth 3-4 billion to me. Just the thought that I own the Lakers, who knows? Just for aesthetics.
Well,
the reason why persons do certain things,
the rich are getting richer.
They say like we are arguing that 80 million were value for money to BTL, and we are looking at the the actual asset component and trying to dissect that, when they're saying, we ain't got peace of mind, we ain't get rid of the competition, there's other valuables that are intangible that you could put to many of these transactions that are not always going to be where you could put pen and paper too.
Okay,
But
let me put
so the
an
Lakers for
identity.
12 billion.
Yeah, the Lakers is has changed hands
iconic.
several times.
Well, Genie the Boss family have had it for a long while.
Yeah.
I think from the early 80s. They were the principal owners, and they've been. I'm not sure what the ownership makeup had been after Jerry Boss, because the daughter took over Genie Boss, and then you went through all the.
But let's
different
get back to
timing with them.
BTL. I mean, BTL, you had said earlier that the CEO says I have to take care of my shareholders. That's his job, basically, right?
Yeah,
but how much of the pocket purse money has been used in BTL's history to finance it?
Listen, there's two different things. We get confused with shareholders
Explain that.
and company operations.
Yeah, but the shareholders.
If you're a shareholder, you buy shares in a company.
Right.
That has nothing to do with the operations of the company. The BTL is saying, for my operations, no. The operation of this company, I am going to find a way to finance the purchase of Smart. That doesn't do anything to the value of your shares.
Granted.
So you
should improve the value of your shares.
decided you want to invest in this company, so you find who own the shares and you pay them for the shares, the owner of the shares.
Right.
That doesn't go into the pocket of BTL. That goes into the pocket of the owner who may own the shares before. And I'm going to talk simply corporate, because we get confused because we are hella the taxpayers' money and so. But let's talk business. You buy shares.
Okay.
So what the country bought from Mr. Ashcroft was
who
the
speaks for
shares.
the shareholders?
The government.
Okay. Who speaks for the people?
And the government put their directors there, and they.
But who
speaks to the people?
When
people speak for themselves.
When people say, you use my money, 'cause I own BTL. How much of an impact or reality does that have?
Well, if you.
How true is that? What does that mean?
If you want to trace the politics of it, it is good conversation.
We talk about money here. Let's forget the politics. We talk about money.
But that's the point.
The company resulted
we
from
bought
Cape Navarez.
shares. The government of Belize decided, under the circumstance that they wanted to nationalize, whoever they were, in representation of the people, they sat in parliament and they decided that they would nationalize the company.
Right.
The majority of them in that parliament.
So that's where I
constitution.
can sit here and say, well, I have only money that was
Well,
spent
you could
there.
have that notionally. if you
That's
want.
what I'm getting.
You could do that. That's all notional.
And then when you talk about so many millions paid to Mr. Ashcroft, and where did that money come from?
The money came from the government.
From the government?
From the
public
government.
purse?
Yes, the
Which
government.
is supposedly collected from the people.
The government paid for it, whichever way they structured it. The government did things like maybe issue treasury bonds, and so people bought bonds, and then over time the government pays it off from the consolidated
So
fund.
how much does my value as saying I have used public funds to now pay for BTL, so I should be responsible, or I should be spoken to, and how this is going to be sold as opposed to a shareholder?
Yesterday I made mention to you this, right? To answer your question, that you have a representative from the small shareholders. I don't know how he got his purview or what he saw, but that is probably the most independent
Because
person.
as a business, it makes sense to be.
It is the most independent
we get
person.
that point. We get that point. The whole
I was making this point.
problem is that people out here have this concept, or that if we money in this, and if BTL fails, the people will suffer.
But in any investment, there's going to be risk.
Of course.
So I don't think that is a discussion.
But somebody
that you
has
will
to
want
be
to
held
have.
responsible for making that decision.
But that is why.
at the end of the day.
That is why
Anyway,
the state.
If let me close with this. If BTL comes and says, no, the prices might improve if we make this purchase and so on, I want to believe that.
That's what they're saying. They're not.
Yeah,
They're not.
yeah.
It's not hypothetical.
So
They're saying
one of
that.
the complaints we have here is when you buy your minutes, you want to roll over minutes. We don't get that, in the US. And so when you buy your minutes, and it rolls over to the
you
next
own the
month.
company, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You own the company, right?
Exactly. So if we are going
It's
to buy
notional.
this,
Company still have to
give me my rollover minutes,
The
man.
company is in the business of selling telephone services. Now, if you want a policy decision, then you see, we don't utilize a lot of the strength we have because we get on social media, we vent without facts.
Right.
But if you want all of these things to happen, then you write into the board of directors. Everybody can write in.
Listen, we run out of time. Don't get me started.
And flush them with it, because when you're just hollering on social media, you can't measure that.
But that's what the Senate said and the chamber said, and the right are not going to answer.
Right to who?
Then the right to everybody. They're
getting an opportunity right now to meet with the highest body. The highest body right now, they're getting an opportunity.
And
The
they don't-
Labor
and they
and
don't want to do
Capital are getting an opportunity to meet tomorrow to go in there and say pro, yay or nay, or whatever discussion, to be able to get those persons convinced one way or the other how they are going to make
lay
that
the
decision.
problems on the table and maybe get, like you said, different
That's what I'm
tracks.
saying.
And you're right. You can
Good.
only, like they say, only cross the river if you jump in.
Exactly.
So
Go
let's-
there. You don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. A minute after 9 o'clock, I want to thank Richard Herbert for doing a great job this morning on Love FM, as well as acting as our producer. I want to thank our master control operator, William Usher, our producer, of course, Manuela Ayuso, and Andrew Jones for streaming. Of course, all our viewers and listeners throughout the length and breadth of this Be a Beautiful Jewel of ours. Those are you streaming as well. Our guests, all our guests this morning, as well as our callers, and all those behind the scene who made this show possible. It is a hump day, and we trust that you will be able to enjoy it today, the 12th day of August. It's celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, celebrating an anniversary. Glad we stuck it out.
We did it. Yeah, definitely. We stuck it out all right.
Indeed.
They would look kind of iffy out there, but I think it's
Yeah, well, we have a
improving.
system passing through, and so, and it's that time of the year, when you get down into August, late August, September, October, that is when it gets a little bit dicey for us,
Right.
in terms of tropical storms. And so
yeah.
stay alert, as
It's
we
been
always
quiet,
say.
thank God for that.
Yeah, we always take the quiet. I'll take that any day of the week.
That's right.
Indeed.
Be kind to somebody today. Belize and beyond. Thanks
for choosing love. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.